I ain't gonna make it.
BTS Oreos.
You're gonna jump on the bandwagon? That's an interesting one. And wow, those are bad lyrics. Wildly inappropriate.
That wasn't a great idea. They did not pair well together.
Good morning on this wonderful Thursday morning where it's going to be a warm one. It's almost 90 degrees at 6:45 a.m. Why am I having some deja vu about what I just did? I feel like it was exactly 1 year ago at this moment. I was in this spot, in these clothes, saying almost the exact same thing. Let's take a look back at the intro of vlog 20, June 11th, 2025. Good morning on this wonderful Wednesday morning where it's going to be a warm one. So when that vlog started, I was listening to a song. For this morning, the first song that came on was Doing Time by Sublime. But I'm not talking about a song today. I got too much to do. I'm double dipping. I'm filming for Frequent Reviews and I'm filming this vlog. 3 items to taste test today. And I've got several things I'm trying in my toaster oven as well. So I ain't got time to listen to music today. Nice chirping. Those birds are saying something to each other. I don't know if it's aggressive, if they're flirting, or if they're talking crap about me in bird talk. Today is trash day in my neighborhood. And as I passed some of these cans, I wondered to myself, how did you possibly create something that smelly in a week? Like that stench will just stop you in your tracks. Like that one, stopped in my tracks. When I was a kid, my brother said his goal was to be a garbage man, because he thought it'd be fun to ride on the side of the truck. I think his aspirations got a little bit higher as he was a teenager, but as a kid, that was top tier living right there. But I was talking to Brandon on the phone yesterday, and I told him a story he'd never heard before, which, as much as I repeat myself, that's kind of shocking. So I don't know how it came up, but when I first moved to Vegas, my parents had been here for a couple years, and they had a lot of business contacts in town already. So one person they were working with, it was an entrepreneur. I helped him with his website. Now, back in the early 90s, there was a well-publicized case where an American was over in Singapore. He did something wrong, and he got sentenced to like 20 lashes with a cane or something like that. Now, being whipped with a cane maybe doesn't sound so bad to some people, but that first slash will cut you wide open, and they keep hitting the same spot over and over again. Even a couple slashes is a lot. I don't even remember how many it was. So this person that my parents knew had the brilliant idea, because purchasing things online was a relatively new thing in the early 90s. So he created a website and was selling Singapore whipping canes. Jumping on that, what a bandwagon to jump on. You're gonna jump on the bandwagon? That's an interesting one. And what's even funnier is he actually sold quite a few of them. Like, who's buying these? Why are you buying a Singapore whipping cane? What are you gonna do with it? Are you going to display it? Hey, here's a can that people get beat with. Are you going to use it? Who are you going to use it on? But yeah, in the early days of the internet, it was a wild west. And I participated in a small way in the selling of Singapore whipping canes by helping with the website. No whipping canes today. In fact, I'm going to whip up my appetite because I got 3 things to test out a little bit later after I do some reviewing for my main channel. So, busy day, let's get started.
It's time for the latest Freakin' 2 food review. On today's menu, we only have 3 items. It's a short taste test today, but the 3 items I have look pretty interesting. And they are Doritos Ultimate Garlic Parm, Oreo BTS, and a chocolate soda by Rocket Fizz. Now, the Doritos Ultimate Garlic Parm, I believe, came out in Canada first, and it's been rolling out here in the US for the last couple months, and I just found a bag myself. I've had several requests on Discord for this one, so here we go. I was looking around online for the reviews of this, and they're mostly positive. Some people were saying that they're kind of bold, savory, cheesy. The Parmesan balances the garlic, while other people were saying it was kind of forgettable or average, or they weren't sure if garlic goes on a chip like this. But let's see. All right, so my first smell, I was worried that I was going to open it up and it was going to be hitting the face with a big garlic scent, and I wasn't. It's in there, but it's pretty faint. We have a yellow corn chip here. Not really a lot of smell to it. Here we go, first taste. You know, it really wasn't what I expected. Interestingly, I don't get much garlic. I don't even get much Parmesan. I don't really get much anything. I get a little bit of Parmesan, much less garlic, and pretty much not a lot of flavor to begin with. I wouldn't say it's flavorless, but I wouldn't say it's flavorful. If you had asked me to try this sight unseen, there's no way I would have guessed garlic parmesan. What would I have guessed? I would have guessed maybe it was a different kind of cheese, and it's very mild. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to lean a little bit toward the detractors. I think it's a little bit forgettable, a little bit average, and a little bit less flavorful than most Doritos. I mean, it's not bad. I had higher expectations for it. I'll finish the bag, and I'll probably forget about them. So I guess in that case, it is kind of forgettable. I'm glad I tried it, but I won't try it again. And with that, let's move up to the next item, which are the BTS Oreos. The BTS Oreo taste test portion of this review is dedicated to Discord user Freakin' Jeremy, who's probably the biggest fan of BTS and Freakin' 2 that I know. Hopefully, Jeremy, you agree with my taste test. Now, this flavor is brown sugar pancake, which is supposedly inspired by a Korean street food. These are brand new. They just came out in June of 26, I believe. Most of the reviews I've read of this are positive. People say that it has a nice caramel cinnamon flavor to it, maple French toast. Some people said Teddy Grahams. Some people said it's crunchier than a regular Oreo. Not a lot of cons, but some people said it's too sweet or too dry. I got a very maple scent just came out of here. Very maple. You see this is every twist. Dear BTS Army. Looking at these designs here, there's quite a few of them. BTS loves Oreo. I'm sure fans understand that, but to me, I just looks like an open window or something. I don't know. I'm sure the references mean something to a lot of people. But I'm gonna try the cookie itself and then the filling isolated. I guess it doesn't really matter which one I try here. Here we go, BTS down the hatch. Very sweet, not in a bad way though. It has definitely has a breakfast vibe to it. I don't know that it's crunchier than regular Oreos. Whoever said that, I don't know about that. I do get maple, maybe a hint of cinnamon. They are quite good though. I'm enjoying these. Let me try just the filling. The filling seems to have multiple layers here. I'm not sure what the layers are, but there's 2 or 3 layers there. I can't tell if there's a darker layer on the bottom or not. Let's try this out. Now by itself, there's almost a bit of a caramel flavor in there, but it's kind of hidden when you bite into the cookie itself. That kind of disappears. It's very creamy and very sweet. It almost has a vibe of like Oreo meets a mapley Teddy Grahams. I think that's probably the closest I can come up with. It certainly has a breakfast vibe to it, which is it's kind of cool. Comparing this to the Selena and the Post Malone Oreos I've tried in recent years, I'd probably put it just below the Post Malone, but above Selena. And I'm sure the fans of BTS will not be disappointed because it's actually pretty good. And with that, let's move on to the last item to wash all this down. We have this chocolate soda here. There really isn't much to say about it. It does say made with real cocoa. The ingredients don't really mention any cocoa in there though. It says spring water, cane sugar, citric acid, caramel color, and natural flavor. I guess that's where the cocoa is gonna be at. Let's crack this open and see how it actually tastes. I'm gonna pour it into a glass and just see what it looks like here. Relatively nondescript. There's a kind of a chocolate hint in there. Let me see. By the way, I paid $6 for this, which seems kind of expensive, but when I checked today, it was 11. 11 bucks for 1 bottle of soda. Also, I looked around, this one's been out for at least a decade, but I couldn't find out when it actually came out. People on Amazon who liked it said it was kind of similar to a Tootsie Roll with a slightly bitter chocolate body. People who didn't like it said they didn't like the idea of carbonated chocolate, or it was too sweet. Is it too sweet? Interestingly, I don't think it's too sweet at all. I think the sweetness is actually a good balance. And the chocolate does come through, but it's kind of subtle. It's not really that chocolatey. If anything, it's not chocolatey enough. By the way, 1 bottle is 170 calories, so below a lot of sodas out there. I actually kind of like this. There's no way I would pay 11 bucks for it. But the flavor is actually pretty good. The chocolate is subtle, it's not too sweet. It's actually not overly carbonated, so it actually tastes pretty good to me. What if I pair it with a cookie here? Chocolate soda and BTS. Now, that wasn't a great idea. They did not pair well together. How about a garlic parm and BTS? Garlic parm and BTS. No. I don't know why I do that. It was like putting some Teddy Grahams on a piece of garlic toast. That's what it tasted like. Not a good combination. You wash it down with this. Now, I'm surprised about this one. I thought it was gonna be too sweet, it was gonna be low quality, it wasn't gonna be worth drinking. I would totally drink this again. I actually kind of like it. The flavors are subtle, not too overpowering, but not so subtle that they don't come through. Surprisingly, I would say the Doritos, which is on my Mount Rushmore of snacks, is probably my least favorite of these. The BTS and the chocolate soda are both up there. I like both of them quite a bit, so it was an interesting taste test, and I'm not sure if I'll ever try these again, but I wouldn't mind if I did, because they're both pretty good. These, I'll finish and never think about after this. And with that, this taste test is over, and now back to the vlog.
I had to get out of the house for a little bit, man. My eyes are torched from editing already. It's only 1 o'clock. I ain't gonna make it. And I got a lot more editing to do, and there's a game tonight I wanna watch. But I had to get away from that computer for a little bit, man. Just, I can't stare at that all day. But anyways, I wanna share something kind of funny with you. So I've been kind of amassing this collection of things, of food and drinks for a 4th of July themed taste test for this channel. All patriotic stuff, because we have our 250th this year. It's kind of a big one. Unfortunately, it's not as big a deal as the bicentennial in 1976. It should be, it could be, but everybody hates each other nowadays. Back then, everybody's all patriotic. Nowadays, nobody wants anything to do with anybody now, which is a shame, because if you were there in 1976, I was a little kid. It was a great celebration. I'm digressing already. So anyways, in 1976, I had 2 singles, single songs by Elton John. One of them was Philadelphia Freedom, and one of them was Island Girl. Now, Philadelphia Freedom, a lot of people have kind of assumed came out as a patriotic American bicentennial song, but Elton John is from England, first of all. And it was written about Billie Jean King's tennis team. People kind of adopted it as an American patriotic song, and that's fine. The problem is with the other song. So I put on both of those tracks recently on Spotify, and I read along though with the lyrics. All the years I had that song, Island Girl, I never knew the lyrics until recently. And wow, those are bad lyrics. Wildly inappropriate. Not only is it inappropriate, but I was like 8 years old and I had that song. It's like, I'm glad I didn't know the lyrics then, because read the lyrics to Island Girl. I know why Elton John hasn't performed it live in like 36 years now, because it ain't appropriate. But anyways, my break can't be that long, so I've got too much editing to do. People might ask, why don't I just use an editor? Well, I'm posting this video tomorrow and my review the day after that. Editors ain't that fast. If they are, they're expensive. And I'm a cheapskate. So, no editor for me. But I gotta get home and be an editor. And I might still listen to some Elton John, but I won't sing along with the lyrics. Philadelphia Freedom. Island Girl. I was on Discord before I left, and Jeremy was on there, the BTS/Freakin' 2 viewer, and he asked me what I would give the BTS Oreos on a scale of 1 to 100. And I thought about it. I think I'm thinking about 85, right? A solid B. Probably a upper echelon of Oreos. Maybe not the absolute best, but certainly up there on the higher tier. So I would say 85 out of 100. If I was going to rank the Doritos out of 100, probably about 35. I tried some after my taste test, and there is flavor there. There's just not a lot of it. And then that chocolate soda, where would I put that between the 0 and 100? Maybe a 70, 75, like a C. Maybe. It wasn't unpleasant. I could certainly drink it again. I wouldn't feel overly compelled to drink it again, but I could. 35, 75, 85 for the 3 things I tried today, if you want to rank out between that 0 and 100. Now it's time to go home and get that Elton John song out of my head while doing mindless editing until the Golden Knights game later. That's next. Well, that's about it for this day. I had a pretty productive day. 3 tests for freaking reviews, 3 taste tests for this vlog, edited almost everything, and then watched the entire hockey game where my team lost. That's probably about enough for one day, so I think I'm gonna just call it right here. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.